Do not be afraid to delete people from your phone at this time. Do not tolerate them. It's a new you, it's a new level, and you must do everything in your power to keep your peace. Anybody who continues to choose to misunderstand you, belittle you, treat you like you're nothing, do not be afraid to block and delete them. Do not be afraid to block and delete people who are trying to come back in your life after they've disrespected you. And for some of you, a lot of persons in your lives are coming back because they're just getting a chance to see who you really are. They've judged you the whole time. God has separated you from them, and they are now seeing the real you and seeing you for who you truly are, and recognize that who they moved on with are not as nice as you, right? Are not as kind and as giving as you. Who they've moved on to are not as dedicated as you. The other persons, whether relationships, friends, acquaintances, whoever, right, are associates, whatever, are not like you. They're nothing like you. And it took them losing you and recognizing that you've lost everyone and standing on your own and still making it to recognize who you were and in their life, and who you could have been the whole time. And they're worrying what they're missing out the whole time they were not involved with you, and who else is now getting all that blessing. Do not be afraid to block and delete people in this time. Do not be afraid to block and delete them. They really do not deserve your energy and your time. Anything at all that disrupts your peace, learn to get rid of it quickly. Learn to keep your peace, because you find that every time these people, they do not value anyone. They did not, and they are not taking the time out to work on themselves spiritually, emotionally, and otherwise, and to invest in themselves to learn how their actions and their words and their thoughts affect others. They're not taking the time out to know God, and so that they can vibrate on a higher frequency and know why they would get all the kingdom downloads as to how to live and operate in this life, and why things are the way they are, and why they need to relate to people a certain kind of way. They did not do the work. You did the work. And so inviting them back in your life every time when they haven't leveled up or work on themselves makes no sense. It is only causing you heartache and more pain. You recognize every time how much, when you sacrifice your peace for these people, when you give them a chance, it's the same old story. Right? Do not be afraid to block and delete people who you recognize in 2024, they're still on the old. Everything is on the old. They're still asking questions about this person. They're still talking about that. They're still asking about this. When you have moved on from that, or you're not talking about it, and even if you have an issue, you're not discussing it because you're looking at progress. You are no longer where they are. They love to discuss these things, but they're not offering any solutions. So do not be afraid to block and delete these people. You're just coming to mind your business, asking questions because they need to know the latest sus, because you've always been the topic, and they need to know the latest sus to go update whoever they need to update, so that you can constantly be the topic of discussion while they take the attention off of themselves. Do not be afraid to block and delete these people. Do not be afraid to block and delete people who have no conscience. They'll just take and take and take and take. Always want to borrow money, always begging you $100, and the little bit adds up, but you can never ever get anything from them. Do not be afraid to block and delete these people. Why is it that they have to go through all of this to lose you, to put you through so much pain, to recognize that you are a good person the whole time? No, they recognize they're just used to taking good people for granted. People are heartless. God's words are always true. And they act like God is a big liar. And they want to mock God. God is not mocked. God said men will become lovers of themselves in these last days. He said it, and everything he said is true, and this is why I love him so much. He alone has been true. Abba alone has been true. At this point in time, it's hard to trust anybody. Very hard. Mankind are desperately wicked. People are wicked, they're evil. They will sacrifice their own lives, time, money, everything just to see you fall. Do not be afraid to block and delete people who just do not mean you any good. People who want to play hide and seek, acting like they want you to be calling them all the time, as if you owe them something. Do not be afraid to block and delete them. It's time to vibrate higher and keep your peace so that they do not rob you, because you have a soft heart and you're easily hurt. So you need to know how you're going to move forward in dealing with these people who do not have a heart, or whose hearts have been replaced with ice boxes. You know who these people are, and you know what I'm talking about. You know that if you give them another chance, it's gonna be the same old story, and you're gonna feel the same way, if not worse, this time. Do not be afraid to block and delete everything that does not serve you in this time. And it's not just people, any energy, any emotion, anything at all, any situation, any contract, anything at all that does not serve you, any thought, any whisper. Block and delete.